It's the Barclays Premier League, and this is week 3. It's been great fun so far. Looking forward to these matches that were played on Saturday, 4 of them. The first one was at the Amex, and my team, Manchester United, at Brighton. The last time these two played at the back end of last season, United rolled them over comfortably by 3-0. Didn't turn out like that this time, however. For United, they had Wan-Bissaka and Matic back. Brighton looked relatively unchanged, although I'm not an expert on their squad. Early on, United looked very frail, and 8 minutes, Trossard, who was dangerous throughout, hit a post from 20 yards. Lamptey on the wing, again impressing for Brighton, and Matic fouled him early on and got a yellow. On 20 minutes, another shot from Trossard grazed the post, and to be perfectly honest, the first quarter, Brighton really in charge. March was looking very threatening down that left, and Brighton half a metre quicker to every second ball. Greenwood had a chance on 30 minutes, but came to nothing. 37 minutes, Fernandes guilty of pushing Lampley, and he fell over in the box. Mopé stepped up, and it was 1-0 to Brighton. 42 minutes, United got back into it. Against the run of play, I have to say, Fernandes drilled a free kick across the Brighton penalty area, and at the far post, Matic managed to get a touch to it and put it back into the 6-yard danger area, and Maguire was on hand to tap it in, and so we went to the break at 1-1. So the second half action then, and early on there was a disputed penalty call again involving Pogba and Connolly. It looked 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, but it went to VAR, and although Connolly protests could be heard all over the ground, VAR decided no pen. And then a piece of individual brilliance on 54, Marcus Rashford, who'd been relatively quiet, and he managed to jig his way in from the left. He certainly caused havoc and got to the situation one-on-one with the keeper, far too clever for him, and hit the shot. It had a slight deflection as it was on its way in, but a genuine class effort, and United up 2-1. There was a disallowed goal shortly before that for United, but it was clearly offside. Move forward to minute 75 now, and Jahanbakhsh came on, and he fed the ever dangerous Trossard, who hit the bar from distance. And then we got into added time. Initially 92, De Gea made a good save, but a few minutes later he could do nothing about a cross to the far post. March on hand to head home. Poor defence really by United. Lindelof looking all at sea, and it was level, and we all thought, well, that's it. No, not a bit of it. Within the last few seconds there was a corner to United, and it was cleared out, but Maguire got his head to the ball. He was inside the box, but some way, and it looked to be going in, but a hand from Mopé got in the way, and it eventually got cleared, but the referee went to VAR. It was a clear handball, and so United got the kick, and guess who strokes it in? Fernandes. He's absolutely got nerves of steel. He chipped it into the goal, and United had sort of escaped with a 3-2 victory. It's a bit like daylight robbery, really, because Brighton were excellent throughout. But that's football, I guess. Final score at Amex, Brighton 2, Manchester United 3. Right, let's look at the other games now briefly. This is almost a top of the table clash at Selhurst Park. I know we've only played 2 games, but Crystal Palace at home to Everton. The winner was to go top, and 9 minutes, Lewin tucked away a nice cross from Coleman, who got to the byline. This was again after a great diagonal pass that cut through the right side of Palace by Yames, who's proving to be a real find. So 1-0 to the Toffees, but they weren't ahead for that long. 26 minutes, a corner from Townsend, and Coyote met the ball with his head. It went in the corner. Pickford no chance. So we were back 1-1. 39 minutes, a very harsh handball against Palace. It hit Ward, certainly on that hand, but there seemed no intent. But the VAR, of course, decides it's handball. Referee's got his hands tied, really. Richarlison stepped up and it's 2-1. Second half, well, it fell away a little bit. Coyote forced a good save from Pickford on 64, but Palace really couldn't respond, and Everton were relatively quiet themselves. Final score then at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 1, Everton 2. Turf Moor then, Burnley at home to Southampton. Still no Redmond for the Saints. Burnley have got big problems at the back. They're without their 2 defenders, Mee and Tarkowski. So they got Long and Dunn substituting at the back. And Rodriguez wasn't available either for Burnley. 4 minutes, through ball to Adams for Saints. And he fed Ings in the box. And you know what happens when that comes about. Ings slotted it home 1-0. Of course, he used to play for Burnley long before he hit the headlines, it has to be said. 46 minutes into the second half, half chance for Wood, but McCarthy to the rescue. And then we had a great left foot drive from Taylor, which forced another good save from the Saints keeper. And that was about it. Southampton hung on. Good win for them. Final score at Turf Moor, Burnley 0, Southampton 1. So off to the Hawthorns then. West Bromwich Albion against Chelsea. West Brom 2 defeats so far. Chelsea 1 win and 1 defeat. It's fair to say that after their Carabao Cup exploits and Harwich, their new signing, getting a hat-trick, a lot was expected of him. Abraham was up front though with Werner. Harwich was also selected, but the action was at the other end early on. 5 minutes, Robinson, a left foot shot, surprised Caballero, who was in for Kepa. No surprises there. And the goalkeeper a bit slow really. 1-0 to the Albion. And a shot from Harwich from distance a little later, and Johnson managed to push it away. And Abraham missed a golden chance on 11 minutes from a great cross by the ever-impressive James. Werner hit the bar on 14 after he was set up by Mount. But then on 24 minutes, a diabolical mistake by the new signing in the heart of Chelsea's defence, Thiago. He lost control of the ball. Robertson capitalised on it, and he was through on goal, and it went between Caballero's legs, and it was 2-0 to the Albion. Absolutely amazing, these baggies. 27 minutes, a corner from West Brom, and Bartley made it 3. Amazing scoreline. Abraham spooned an effort high just before the break, but we went there with the score: West Brom 3, Chelsea 0. Well, Lampard must have given them a rollicking, because they came out in the second half. 54 minutes, Mount from distance whistled past Johnson, 3-1. Then on 69 minutes, Hudson-Odoi on the left used Havertz as a wall, got the 1-2 off him, and then his shot steered into the corner, and it was back to 3-2. Now it was all Chelsea running amok really, and Albion desperately trying to hang on. Well, they nearly made it, but 93 minutes, a great bit of work by Mount, and he set up Abraham a few yards out, who tapped it in after Johnson had parried Mount's shot. So there we are, 3-3, and quickly followed the final whistle. Lampard was not happy, however. He really says that they've got to do a lot better in defence. Bilic, very positive with his troops, but 2 points lost. So final score then at the Hawthorns, West Bromwich Albion 3, Chelsea 3. So a quick summary of those 4 games. I'm just going to highlight a couple of things. First, the handball rule. It is becoming farcical. The Crystal Palace lost the game on a VAR decision, and quite rightly Hodgson was really not happy, and he basically said what a lot of us are feeling, that this handball rule is ruining the game. If that's all that VAR can offer, it may be a good idea to scrap it. The other thing I just wanted to add, very, very lucky my team United, unlucky for Brighton. Potter was, I suppose, realistic in defeat, but he must have underneath it felt really that the game had been robbed from him. But it has to be said, the goal of the day was scored by Marcus Rashford, and I'm really pleased that he's back on the score sheet. This boy has a lot of talent, and he really is going to be enormously important to England in the future. So that's my quick summary of Saturday. We'll be back in a day or so with Sunday's and Monday's results.